first of all, thank you. So yesterday was like a heavy day. I didn't even know until yesterday afternoon about all that was going on in the headlines. And then it's like, oh my goodness, Utah and then Colorado and all the stuff. Just a dark, heavy day. Mm-hmm. To see your joy over a pink iPad cover. There's a little glimmer of happiness.
I'm gonna keep saying
and a heavy day.
It's the little things that gotta find joy in the small things, especially when life is, man.
There's some heavy stuff.
Very heavy.
Really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But between that pink keyboard and that pink iPad, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody quite that happy before.
And look, I've rearranged our plants in here.
That's true. And then we got new plants in the
Every
studio.
day I walk in with the new plants.
It is. We're going to be a greenhouse here before too long.
Got the diffuser going over there.
I'm all for it. It's all good stuff. All right. So this morning, speaking of too heavy, it's 9/11, 24th anniversary since 9/11. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about something really bright and beautiful in the midst of it. Of course, today is the day we think about all those first responders and those heroes. And Dr. Rosemary from the Center for Healthy Relationships here at John Brown University is going to join us. And we're going to talk a little bit about they're doing some really cool, important stuff.
Yes, definitely.
For our first responders, for some of them here in Northwest Arkansas. And I think we're going to ask her, too, a little bit about, what about the rest of us who have people, you have, your brother, right?
Yep.
Who's a fire chief?
Yep.
Most of us have at least somebody in our life that serves in that way.
Right.
And okay, how do we come alongside them? Because it's a scary, dangerous, heavy job.
It really is.
To do all that.
Yes.
So we'll talk to Dr. Rosemary. That'll be about 7:45 this morning. Also in about an hour, we're going to see if we can call Ross on the beach and make sure he's actually coming to work on Monday. We'll find out.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC. The positive difference.
Ready for some good news?
We are too.
Here's your positive difference story of the day.
So Michaela McCaffrey was 8 years old when she lost her father, who was a firefighter, John McCaffrey, during 9/11.
Man.
Inspired by her father's heroism, when she entered her teen years, she took it upon herself to turn her grief into purpose and started a nonprofit.
Well, she's a teenager. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah. So the nonprofit was called McCaffrey's Heroes, and the intent was to help support children who had lost a parent in a tragic circumstance.
Okay.
And so specifically those impacted by 9/11, but she did this through events, workshops, mentorship programs, and she's raised funds to help fund scholarships for children of first responders as well.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, kind of established a support network for grieving families.
She's a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I don't know how it all works. I don't know about her dad, where he was at with Jesus, where he's at now. Can you imagine how proud?
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to know that. And she'd give anything, I'm sure, just to have that back.
Right.
Totally get that.
Yeah.
But if you have to walk through that kind of grief, to not just be stuck in the sadness and the bitterness of it, and to be able to do something that positive and helpful to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you've had somebody give everything, and then you still find it within yourself to give back.
Yes. It's really good.
Yeah.
That is our positive difference story of the day on this 9/11.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC. The positive difference.
I don't know what your situation was, but mine yesterday, I started getting these messages about the whole in Utah Charlie Kirk thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was.
Me neither.
Okay. I felt like I was the one person on the planet, the way it was taking over.
Yeah.
And so I still don't know a lot about him. So I started researching it a little bit. And we don't probably see everything the same in the political world. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we probably see something. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, this is a dad, a husband.
Yeah.
All of us can be and should be heartbroken anytime that happens, whether it's a big public figure or it happens on the streets.
Right.
And supposedly nobody notices. But the thing I do know that we had common ground around is he seemed to have a really very outspoken faith relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess he'd go around to all these college campuses. And I watched a couple of videos with him. The first thing that stood out to me, I was like, they're not yelling at each other.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these people are having, like, a charitable, and we're talking, like, people who saw the world completely differently than him.
Yeah.
And would just be able to actually have conversations.
Good.
Say, hey, we can actually maybe agree to disagree here. And I found this video where somebody asked him about what he says is the most important thing in his life.
Truths of the Bible that if you apply to your life.
Are you a Christian by any chance?
Very, very much so.
Like, why is that exactly?
Jesus saved my life. I'm a sinner, gave my life to Christ, most important decision I ever made.
So you believe the Bible is real?
Yes, I believe the Bible is true and real. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I could give you the technical answer. There's never been an archaeological discovery that has contradicted the truth of the Bible. And then, of course, the wisdom. There is not a truth of the Bible that if you apply to your life does not improve dramatically. And then finally, we have the most accurate and transparent, historically robust account that one can have of the most important figure ever to live in the history of the world, Jesus of Nazareth. And the resurrection is the pinpoint of my belief that Jesus did rise from the grave so that we may live.
What makes Christian mythology real?
So that's not mythology, but that is theology. If Genesis 1:1 and the resurrection is true, anything in the Bible is possible. You're looking at the greatest miracle. The greatest miracle is creation. And then the fact that Jesus rose from the dead. And I say, how do you know that Jesus rose from the dead? Well, show me another historical piece of a story where so many people willingly died a brutal death for a lie. Every single person around him had everything to lose, and yet they went to the absolute death, from Paul to Peter to the half-brother of James, saying that Jesus is Lord, Jesus rose from the dead. Not to mention, if you were going to fake a story, you would not use female witnesses in the ancient world. In the scriptures, it said that the women were the first one to see Jesus Christ. If you're trying to fake a story, you would never do that.
I was like, oh, okay.
Impressive.
Right, yeah. I was like, some of that, I'd not even
I learned something from him.
Right, in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's a heartbreaking tragedy, like all of them are. And we get it, especially and people who are very connected to him and, really seem to really, really be feeling it.
And to your
right
point
now.
of, not a public figure. I mean, there was another tragedy in Colorado yesterday.
But yeah, it feels like, okay, how much of this in one day can we all take?
It's terrible.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
Monday, it'll be the three of us. Mm-hmm. We think, at least.
Fun times.
Ross, the intern.
If he shows up.
Extended his summer internship to a full year internship, which we're excited about. And he was like, hey, can I go back and hang out with my family for a couple of weeks? I need to grab some stuff. We're like, of course. Mm-hmm. And then he started asking him, I was like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, yeah, we're going to go to the beach, go rafting. I was like, okay, make the most of your time, young man. So we thought we would check in with him and see if he actually is going to come back on Monday, and we'll see if we can track him down.
Good morning.
Ross, the intern.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good.
We miss you.
I miss you guys. I am so ready to be back. We've got less than a week.
Yes, so we're checking in on you, one, to make sure you're actually coming back.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm actually coming back. I'm going to be back hopefully Saturday night, give myself a day to prepare to come into the office on Monday morning.
Okay.
What are you most excited about?
Well, I'm really excited to see you guys, but I'm excited to see my girlfriend too. That's going to be fun.
That's fair.
Yeah, but no, I'm so excited to get back to the office. See the new paint job, right?
Yes.
The whole building's different. Yes, we're super excited. Now, I am a little worried because every time I check in with you, you're like, oh, yeah, we went whitewater rafting yesterday. Or, oh, I'm at the beach right now.
Having a great time, Mark. Having a great time.
Are you at the beach right now?
So I went to the beach this morning and watched the sunrise, but it was raining a little bit. But speaking of whitewater rafting, we did that in the freshwater a few weeks back, and I told you about that, and I thought it was really cool. But yesterday I took a freshwater kayak out in the middle of the ocean, and it was crazy. The waves were horrible. I could barely go 20 feet without a big wave crashing on me. It was crazy.
That's wild. Are you concerned about a shark attack?
No, there were 2 other people on it with me. I could probably outswim them.
I'm not concerned. Somebody else will die first. In the world. Oh, my goodness. Okay, well,
I'm sorry. I'm just telling the truth.
we miss you and your compassion.
You're sacrificing self.
Yes. Next week, we're going to need you to be ready to rep on the Battle of Generations as well, okay?
Okay, I'll be ready. I'm thinking of questions now.
Okay,
Good.
so while you're out there...
I'm going to do better than I did last time.
Yes, you are. I have faith in you.
So yeah, while you're laying on the
Thank you,
beach the next few days, do some work.
Yes.
No, we
Man,
miss
it's so
you.
good to hear from you guys. Thanks for calling in.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yep. We miss you. We'll see you next week.
Safe travels.
All right, miss you guys.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
So our friend Dr. Rosemary from the Center for Healthy Relationships here at JBU joins us this morning.
Good morning. Nice to be on the show with Becky.
Yes,
Yeah.
so nice to finally meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
Thank you.
So today is 9/11, which we felt like was a perfect day to have a conversation because I saw this pop up the news just in the last few weeks that the center received a grant to be able to do something for some of our heroes, our first responders.
Yeah.
Tell us about what's going on with
Well,
that.
we were thrilled. We received a grant from the Arvest Foundation that allows us to be creating a content, some resources for our first responders. And we'd been approached actually by the police chief here in Siloam Springs that they're doing a lot to support their members in mental health. And they came to us and said, "You're the Center for Healthy Relationships. Can you help us give something to our members around relationships and how to have that?" So, we did some brainstorming and came up with the acronym, which we've used elsewhere, and that is to be brave. So the idea that our first responders, police, fire, EMS, they have to be brave every day on their work. At work, they go to work, and that's what they do. We want to give them the resources to have brave relationships at home. And so BRAVE is an acronym, and we encourage them to be brave. BRAVE stands for relationships that are bonded, that are resilient, they are attuned, vulnerable, and empathetic. So that's the acronym. Yeah. And we use that elsewhere in the work that the CHR does.
Yeah,
in
we
fact,
were talking about it when we were talking with Ross about dating.
Yes. Be a brave dater.
Yes.
But there's unique things for the first responders. Yeah. They really do have some unique stressors that are inherent to their profession. And those unique stressors significantly impact their relationships. So we're creating a version, again, thanks to the Arvest Foundation for the opportunity to do this, creating a version that will help first responders look at why some of these things are so challenging for them in their home relationships, specifically in their romantic relationships with their spouses.
Really just makes me think of my brother. He's a fire chief. And there's been a lot of struggles in his relationships.
Yeah, there is.
So I'm just very encouraged to even hear that this is an option for him to hear. He's not local, but maybe there's something that he could learn from afar as well.
Yeah. Well, we're super excited. So we're doing a pilot with the first responders here in Siloam Springs the end of September. And then there's already interest nationally and internationally for this. In fact, when the police chief posted something on his Instagram, he said he started to get messages from around the country. How do we do this? So there's more sponsorship coming in, and we're looking for how do we actually scale this, not just beyond Siloam Springs. And I'm thrilled to be partnering with the local police and fire. They're really at the cutting edge of this. Yeah. The state is getting behind it, and what we're doing here locally is being watched nationally and even internationally in terms of supporting. And the CHR being part of that is just, I'm super excited.
Yeah. The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
And this morning we have the pleasure of having a chat with Dr. Rosemary here with us from the Center for Healthy Relationships.
I love you were sharing with us off the air a little bit ago about how when you hear a siren, it hits you differently.
Yeah.
Because you guys have been in the middle of doing life and walking alongside these heroes.
Yeah.
So you're getting a better glimpse of what the challenges are that they face.
That's so true. So, we all, whether it's we watch cop shows or, something like that, and we see then sometimes you have to pull over, like just kind of almost an annoyance at time. But through this program, I've gotten to know police officers and firefighters and to hear the struggles, hear what they do every day. So truly, they are brave. They have a tremendous amount of self-sacrifice to show up at work every day and do the things that they do to keep us safe. Mm-hmm. That has changed my perception and my care and my love for them, my appreciation for them. And then to hear the struggles that they also have in just going home after having a really tough shift. Things that I don't think I could handle as a civilian, they do this day in and day out. And then we wonder why they come home and they're detached from their families, or they're just, what does it look like for them to come from a really tough shift and then try to integrate into their families? That is really hard. So I've gained a whole new appreciation for that, gratitude. And it's also just a deeper conviction that we need to be doing something to help for them and their families. And I had one officer say to me that he was told early in his career, if he doesn't have 3 divorces, he's not a real police officer. Wow. And that's obviously that's an extreme example, but just repeatedly, sitting in a room with 5 first responders, a combination of fire and police. 3 of them are on their 2nd or 3rd marriage. Only one said, I have a pretty strong marriage. I said, we were really, really close. And so as a center, if we can provide resources that will give them tools to know how to do that, how to translate some of the really amazing skills and character qualities they have at work. It just needs to be changed when they get home. Mm-hmm. What does it look like? They know how to be attuned at work, but it's using that skill in a different way to be attuned to their spouse or to be attuned to their kids. Yeah.
That is interesting because most of us would say, not without blinking, that they're brave, right? Because of the work that they do. But to realize, to be vulnerable in their relationships at home is going to take a different kind of bravery.
And vulnerability can be a bad word, right? That means vulnerability is often insinuates weakness or exposure. There's danger if you're vulnerable. But what do we mean by that is actually we mean being connected, allowing yourself to be known, to have intimacy. And, there's a code of silence. They can't go home and tell everything that's happened at work. But they can go home and say, this is how it impacted me. So, one of the things, and this is something, if you're connected to a first responder, instead of saying, how was your day? Well, they can't tell you. Their day was probably pretty crappy, to be honest. Yeah. So they can't tell you the specifics, but you can ask, how are you doing? They can learn to share, how that impacted them. And even if it's just a 1 degree change from the normal, they instead of being 100% closed off, I'm only 99%. That 1 degree, think about a compass. 1 degree change will take you in a different direction in the long run.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
On this 9/11, we've been catching up with Dr. Rosemary from the Center for Healthy Relationships. They've got this very cool pilot program where they're coming alongside some of our heroes, first responders, who, I get it. When you live through that each day or put your life in those kind of situations, just detaching from that's got to be really hard. Mm-hmm. And so we've been talking about just how do we come alongside and support these heroes. You had a thought that you wanted to share before you left this morning.
You mentioned, Mark, about just seeing first responders differently. It's really prompted me to pray that when I hear a siren now, I think about the individual that's on that truck or in the car and praying that they'll be safe. Praying that they'll have the courage, they'll have the wisdom in discerning the situations that they're going into, and then also praying for their families. When they go home at the end of the shift, Just kind of, one officer said that it's where I take my clothes off. I'm trying to rid myself of what happened at work, and I want to try to re-engage with my family, and it's just so difficult to do. So I think as a population, that's actually a gift that we can give back to our first responders. Mm-hmm. We can be praying for them. We can be encouraging them. If we know somebody, just even acknowledging, you know what, you guys do an amazing job. You're self-sacrificing for us. Yes. I spent some time last week with a woman who's been a police chaplain for 10 years. And at the end of our 2-hour conversation, I said, so what's your greatest takeaway from time with the officers? And she said, their self-sacrifice is beyond anything I have ever seen before. Like the things that they do, the things they take upon themselves I haven't seen that in any other careers. And this isn't about one career being better than another, right. But I think there's just this sense of, if we, particularly as a Christian population, as the church, and in Northwest Arkansas, if we could be praying and uplifting our members, and this week in particular, I think it's going to be really tough, right?
Yes. Right. It feels like a really good day, a really good week.
Yeah.
To maybe put more effort and attention into that.
Yeah.
For sure.
And what you were saying about praying when you hear the sirens, a practice that we've started, I didn't even think anything of it until you mentioned it, is if we're ever in the car and we hear a siren or we see the lights, sometimes I get distracted and Isaac's like, remember, Mama, we need to pray.
Yeah.
And so we make it a point to pray every time we see them drive by or we hear them for the same reason.
Yeah. And I've often prayed for the situation of the person that's in the accident or the medical, but this has really prompted me to pray for the first responder that's there, just knowing that like the repeated interaction and stress and trauma that they encounter day after day, year after year. There's just some crazy statistics around the amount of trauma. Like the average person in their lifetime has 10 incidences of trauma that they encounter. So, and we're talking big things.
Yeah.
But in a 20-year career, a first responder encounters 1,000.
Wow.
So there's just the impact, the repeated impact of that. And trauma, I mean, people are, I have trauma. Now, we're talking like big things,
right?
Sure.
Right? And particularly in settings, communities where the first responder goes to something, they may actually know the family.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to even fathom if you don't live that life.
Absolutely.
But it's absolutely something all of us can do. Today's a great day to stop and pray for first responders. And that's, of course, just a little bit of what's happening at the center. If you want to find out more, too, about the Center for Healthy Relationships,
you can check out chr.jbu.edu to learn more.
Happy birthday! Let's go! 1, 2, 3, go! HPPYBRTXDAY. Hey! Happy birthday.
Time for the Marketplace Grill Birthday Bash. It's our favorite time we get to celebrate our KLRC family. It's Thursday, September 11th.
Happy birthday to Hollis Bartolt. I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly. Turning 5 in Bentonville. Savannah Looks turning 12 in Springdale. Hutch Ferguson turning 8 in Pea Ridge. Angie Cheney, 29 in Siloam Springs.
She's probably glad she's 29. Yeah, 23 is fine.
The smiley face emoji threw me off.
Fair.
Caleb Hager turning 11 in Springdale. Allison Valines turning 23 in Lowell. And Haley Perry, happy birthday, Mom. We love you, from your 4 babies and honey, turning 35 in Colcord.
Nice. All right. So we're going to put those names into the randomizer. One of you gets a gift certificate to celebrate at the Marketplace. That Allison, right?
Yeah.
Allison turning 23
happy birthday,
today.
Allison.